TCR International Series has a brand new driver. Entered for the rest of the season, 2012 Touring Car World Champion Rob Huff.
It's nice to be here, it's a great opportunity, and I think, you know, when Volkswagen, when Leopard and when WRT phone you and ask you to come and drive a car, you don't say no. I did Macau in 2015, I enjoyed the championship, I know all the organisers very well, of course, and lots of friendly and familiar faces.
Rob will partner John Calvinet at Leopard Racing.
I bring 14 years of top-line professional front-wheel drive touring cars with me to the team. They brought me in to try and give them every opportunity to continue, you know, with JK leading and to try and move the whole team forward.
Nice. No hair, but nice. No, it's really great. I mean, it's great. I'm like a kid right now. He's a great guy. I mean, I'm really thankful to Leopard, Team WRT, to have these guys. I mean, to put these guys around me and to help me to win the championship. So it's only positive for me.
I'm really happy that he's here. It makes more competitive and with more prestige if you win races.
Don't underestimate the drivers here in the TCR International Championship. You know, Valente, I know quite well. Oriola, I know quite well. Of course, Huff. We have Comini, and it's interesting to battle also with them because they're clever and they're fast and they're not easy to beat.
Ultimately, the racing is fantastic, and when you have cars at this sort of level, with this sort of power, you get, you know, slipstreaming really comes into effect, and of course it makes for great overtaking, great racing, and that's what the public want to see and the fans want to see. So the cars are well built, they're strong, they're reliable. It's a great championship. The future is bright for TCR, you know, and ultimately that's why I'm here. You know, it's a great place to be. I feel it's just about, you know, broadening the horizons and looking to the future.
Spa-Francorchamps is the venue for the 5th and 6th round of the International Series and marks the first round of the European Series, so the grid has swollen to 24 cars. Other legendary names have been attracted to Spa, like Tom Coronel.
I'm racing with this car in the Benelux TCR Championship. Yeah, so it was a logical step to enter the car in Spa-Francorchamps.
A touring car favourite making his International Series debut here at this legendary circuit.
One of the most famous circuits in the world, and like the first time you're back in a Rouge is like the first time you're back in Macau. You know, it's like, oh, it's still here.
I have a lot of experience, but every time I'm like, respect this corner when I drive out of the hairpin. I'm like, okay, settle yourself. There we go. No, it's really cool, really cool.
Last year it was my first victory here, so I really enjoy it, and we have a lot of fun here during the TCR with the TCR cars. Not my favorite track, but we have to be quick on each track anyways.
Qualifying took place under leaden skies, and with 24 cars, half the field would not make it into Q2 and a chance to fight for pole. Brussels driver Guillaume Mondreau was the first to set a lap time in the Seat, but moments later he lost the rear end at Les Combes and hit the wall. Another local driver from the Benelux series, Ben Lezen, was looking strong in his Honda, a 2:31.850, a time good enough to get into the top 12. On the whole, Seat seemed to be struggling, but Hungarian Ferenc Fizer was contradicting this rule, going fastest of all in Q1. It took a while for the Audi RS3 of Stefano Comini to get up to speed, but when he did, it was clear the local Come2You team would be challenging at the very top. And at the end of the session, it was a mad rush to get into the top 12. Neither Opel managed it, whilst Oriola was the only Bamboo Seat in the top. Of the Alphas, Kajaya would go through, whilst Borkovic would miss out. And another race winner, Roberto Colciago, would end up just 18th. Fizer, therefore, was the surprising man to beat. There would only be a time for 2 proper flying laps, and that was reduced to 1 when Max Potti crashed at Eau Rouge. Yellow flags in Sector 1 would fly for the remainder of the session, but after the pack went through for the first time, so Comini's 2 minutes 30.794 would be the pole time, followed by new teammate Frederick Vervisch. Ferenc Fizer would miss out totally after breaking his drive shaft. David Kajaya was on course for race 2 pole until a second off-track excursion through Eau Rouge rendered both laps null and void. Therefore, it was a happy Stefano Comini, 2.5 tenths ahead of the Honda in third position.
It's very good for Come To You, it's very good for Audi. It's the first pole position in the TCR International, so really happy for this amazing brand and this amazing family, my family, Come To You.
Hello everyone and welcome to round 5 of the TCR International Series here from Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium. 2 Audis, the first pole position for the RS3, pole and second for Come To You Racing, Boots and Gignon in third for Ben Lezens from TCR Benelux, and then the 2 Leopard Racing Team WRTs. Behind them, Attila Tashi, then Tom Coronel making his debut in the International Series, Mondron from Benelux. Oriola managed to get to 9th position ahead of Max Potti, who binned it in Q2. Ferenc Fischer didn't manage to set a lap time. Morbidelli in 12th spot. Altoe, Cortals, Nash struggled, Homola struggled in the Opel, Colciago, Borkovic really struggling in the Alfa Romeo, but he is the first of the Alfa Romeos because Kajaya will start from the back of the grid in 24th position. La Source that's facing them, a very tight right-hand turn. Can we all get through it cleanly? 9 laps face our drivers. And we're racing here at Spa. Who's made a good start? I think Favish has made a slightly better start than Comini, but here comes Jean Calvinet down the middle of all 3 of them. We go 4 wide with Ben Lezens on the inside line, and Attila Tashi in the Honda has made a great start, but he loses the rear end and slides. We've got a Honda 1-2 as they head down. Colciago's been pushed into a spin. He's at the back of the field, but I think we've got, from 2 Audis, we've got 2 Hondas now at the front. Tashi, what an amazing start from Attila Tashi. Ahead of Ben Lezens, and then the 2 Audis of Comini and Favish. Then it's the 2 Volkswagens of Jean Calvinet and Rob Huff, and then Mondron in a Volkswagen as well. Good start, looks like, by James Nash in the second of the Bamboo Seats, the first of the Seats, in fact, and he is just behind Pepe Oriola, who's side by side with Coronel going into Le Camp. Morbidelli leading Fitzer there, with Altoe behind him in the West Coast Volkswagens, and there is Guillaume Moran, who found himself in the barriers in qualifying, and he's right at the back of the field, so he's not had a good start either. The 2 Opels, oh, big shunt there between Homola and Max Potti, and Homola's going to have a puncture, yeah, very easily. Punctured that front right tyre. I'm not sure he's going to get himself to the end of the lap. He's probably halfway around the circuit where he is there. Stefano is now looking to try and take the lead of the race. Attila Tashi on the inside. Comini on the outside in the Audi. Around the outside of the first bit. No, not quite. Can't get the side-by-side. But Attila Tashi leaves him miles of room and invites him up the inside. He holds on for the moment, but Tashi needs to get his elbows out a little bit. That was rather too polite from the Hungarian. Nash down the inside of Oriola. And they've been passed by Coronel. So Coronel's got past the both of them. Now Nash and Oriola run side by side. Ooh, who's going to give up between these 2 teammates? They're here to not to help each other, but to race for the title. And Nash backs out of it. Again, side by side. Tashi has the inside line here. Can he brake hard enough? He needs to edge Stefano Comini wide. No, but Stefano all the way around the outside, and he's grabbed back the advantage in the in the Audi. Favish hasn't been able to follow him through, so we do have Favish still in 4th position under pressure from the 2 Volkswagens, but Comini's first lap was mighty. He obviously had good tyre temperature in his RS3. And let's have a look. The camera pans with the early runners. There's Colciago, and yeah, Potti was trying to avoid Colciago, and that's why Potti went so wide. Norbert Michaelis is here. Fantastic to have the Works Honda driver to supervise his Mira team and watch Attila Tashi, Hungarian, 17 years old, looks up to Norby as a complete legend of the sport of touring cars. And now Tashi is under pressure from Ben Lezens, TCR Benelux Spa expert, and Lezens goes round the outside of the first part of Le Camp, takes the inside line. Now can Tashi hold on? Not quite. Tashi drops down to 3rd position. He needs to be more aggressive. Morbidelli and Fitzer side by side through the chicane, and that is Fitzer trying to pass Morbidelli, and that's happened. So Fitzer up to 11th, Morbidelli down to 12th position, but they're still behind or outside the points at the moment. Stefano Comini's had such a bad first couple of weekends that he sits well behind Jean Calvinet in the points fact, Stefano Comini is 10th in the points. Has 31-point difference. So Comini taking victory here, and Lezenes, Tashi and Vavish ahead of him isn't that much of a problem for the moment, because all of his rivals, certainly in the early part of the championship, are behind. He's found a little gap though into La Source and just about managed to wiggle his way through. Vavish though is going to try and fight back, and they run side by side down to Eau Rouge. This is the place where somebody's got to give. Huffy's on the brakes behind, not sure who to follow, and Jean Calvinet falls back into line. All of that has allowed Mondron and Coronel to catch up on this train of 5 cars for 4th position. Mondron now has a nice slipstream behind Rob Huff. Now we've got the 2 World Championship drivers together. Great friends off the circuit, Huff and Coronel. They've been doing the World Championship for, 13, 14 years together. But whenever they're on track, they're real rivals. Venet, desperate to find a way past Frederick Vavish. And you've got to applaud Yas Motorsport, because the starts that both Ben and Attila got as they rub going down towards Pouin, there is a little bit of an overlap, but not quite enough. Oh, there is, he's got his nose inside, and they run side by side through Pouin, which is a very, very brave thing to do. Frederick Vavish on the outside now, and he's going to let this whole train come through. He manages to shut the door just about. Mondron with the momentum to get back down the inside of Coronel, puts Coronel into a slide. Coronel holds on just, but now he's on the grass, and this is going to get messy. Coronel holds on, Oriola around the outside of him. Concertina effect down into the chicane. James Nash is being passed by Ferenc Fitzer there. And you've got to applaud for Fitzer, Hungarian, because he's in the same car. And Bamboo have been running these cars now for 3 years, to say out. They've got plenty of experience. Oh, Coronel, a little bit of touching, a little bit of rubbing on Pepe Ariola. All of a sudden, Pepe will remember what it was like to race him a few years ago. Vavish on the defensive, Huff looking to try and find a way through. Oh, and Vavish has run wide, and this is the inexperience of front-wheel drive now starting to play out for Frederick Vavish. There's no doubt that he's a fantastic driver. Took a victory in the first round of the Blancpain GT Series in an Audi R8 last year. Here comes Coronel on Pepe Ariola. Ariola has to defend. That is for 8th position. Now Coronel goes around the outside, and this is going to work for him. Oh, that was a lovely move. Well done, Tommy. What a move, and it's compromised Oriola's momentum out of the chicane. If James Nash can capitalise on this, Oriola goes defensive. But no way through, and actually Ferenc Fitzer's gone wide. Oh, and Coronel's run wide in La Source. Oh, he's made a mistake all on his own, and now it's side by side, heading down towards Eau Rouge. Vernet and Tashi side by side. This is for 3rd position to put Vernet onto the podium. He was on the podium last year here. For the moment, Tashi has managed to hold on. There'll be lots of crossed fingers down in Mira's pit garage at the moment, as Pierre-Yves Courtals has seemed to pick up some pace in these latter laps. He's got past Morbidelli, and now here he goes past James Nash, and that is going to put him into the points. Simply a drag down towards Eau Rouge. Who is going to be 3rd position? Bated breath in the pit lane. We know who's going to win this race, though. Stefano Comini with a commanding advantage by the end. A great first couple of laps to put him at the front of the field. And Audi take victory here in Spa. The first victory for the RS3 in the International Series. Lezenes for Honda in 2nd position, and Attila Tashi in 3rd. Vernet, Vavish, Huff, Mondron, Coronel all come over together, but what a drive from Attila Tashi to hold on to that 3rd position. And Ferenc Fitzer comes across the line with a rather damaged rear tyre. I think he's had some more contact from behind, hasn't he? Stefano Comini then, 3.5 seconds ahead of the Honda of Ben Lezenes. And then Honda in 3rd position as well with Attila Tashi. What a drive from him, holding off Jean-Carl Vernet all the way through those latter laps.
I'm very happy, very emotional, and it's great. It's really great for come to you. They gave me an amazing car. It was simply perfect car, and I can do the Blanchimont flat out, Eau Rouge very fast, and all the corner was simply a perfect car.
quick photo for the photographers down at the very bottom. And then, for the first time this season, we can get some pommery spraying. Wonderful racing here in Spa for the first race, but we have one more race coming up for you. What a wonderful place to be on a sunny May day. It is Spa-Francorchamps for the 6th round of the TCR International Series. Here is the grid then. Potti, Oriola, Mondro, Coronel will line up alongside him, and then Tashi, watch out for those Hondas starting very well. And then we've got Vernet, Lezenz, Vervish and Camini, our winner from yesterday. Let's watch and see what Stefano Camini to do from 10th position. Franz Fitzer will be looking to try and get a good result from 11th. Kajaya in 12th in the Alfa Romeo. And then Morbidelli, Altoe, Pierre-Yves Courtal's the first of the Opals. And we move further down the grid. Green flag at the back of the field. 24 cars facing La Source. The lights go out and we go racing. Who's got a good start? It's Max Potti on the front row. A little bit of wheel spin, a little bit of smoke from behind. I think that was Mondron who got some wheel spin. And again, Tassi in the Honda trying to find a way through. Oh, and Tassi's got into the back of Oriola and taken Potti out. No, it wasn't Tassi, it was Coronel, I think. One of the two Boots and Gignon racing cars. There's another of the Lukoil cars going backwards at the back of the field. Pepe Oriola's recovered well, but one of the Boots on Gignons is going very, very slowly down towards the Eau Rouge. And who is that falling to the back of the field? I can't quite see. Everyone else gets through Eau Rouge okay. It is Lezenz in the mix. So it was Coronel who outbraked himself into La Source and caused mayhem. Oriola with a bit of rubbing going on his rear tyres, and Tassi is up to 3rd position on the back of Huff, who's in 2nd, and Mondron leads because Potti was also involved in that first corner accident. Tassi squeezes Jean Calvinet, he's got his elbows out today. Now down the inside of Huff, just about backs out of that one. This is where you need to do the work. We've got Volkswagen 1-2-4 at the moment. Here come Ben Lezenz down the inside of Jean Calvinet. Great aggressive move from Ben. 2nd yesterday. And he's looking to try and get another podium, and down the inside of Tashi. Whoa! Hello, Ben Lezenz. He's just made his mark on the International Series, pushes Tassi wide, and Tassi's now going to be under pressure from Jean Calvinet. More blue smoke coming from Pepe Oriola. I think that is rubbing from the rubber on the rear bodywork rather than an engine problem. One of the West Coast cars goes very wide at Pouhon. Tassi now with Frederic Vervish behind him, and Camini down the inside of Vervish. Oh, teammates there side by side. Again, Vervish is not here for the championship. Camini very much is, and Vervish needs to play the team game. And Hugo Valente managed to spin at the first corner and get into the pits. Oh, Vernet wide, Tassi wide, Camini wide. Now Camini looks down the inside of Vervish. Tassi on the defensive. Vervish can go around the outside here. And here's David Kajaya as well, trying to do the same thing. Kajaya down the inside of Camini. Has that worked out? I don't think it quite has. And he has to slot back behind Camini and defend himself. Mondra on the defensive. Huff to the outside. Ben Lezenz through the middle and into the lead. But he's going to break himself and put Huff into the lead. Now he's going to fall back down to 3rd position. Brave move from Ben Lezenz, but it didn't quite work out for him. Distracted Max Potti, and now we have Rob Huff at the front of the field, and that is ominous. Oh, Coronel. Tommy, late on the brakes, into the back of Oriola. Replay of Stefano Camini, looking to try and get past Frederic Vervish here. And he did it. That was whilst we were away then, so that was a lap later. The lap before, Vervish went round the outside of him. There is Tommy, out the car. Tassi's under pressure here from Stefano Camini. Vervish is having to defend from Kajaya. We know the Alfa Romeo has good speed down the straight. Mondron defending from Ben Lezenz, and Lezenz goes round the outside and into the lead. Nice move up into 2nd position for Ben Lezenz. It was like Morbidelli. It was Morbidelli contact with Colciago, the two Italians getting in together at Brussels, and we caught the very end of the recovery there. Here is Kajaya. Oh, down the inside of Vervish, takes the position. Nice work. is for 7th position. Vavish is going to try and fight back, but the Alpha's strong. There's no doubt about that. Oh, a little clip from Ben Lezenz around the outside of Huff. You can't do that to Rob Huff, and quite rightly, Huff puts Ben Lezenz into a spin. Contact in the braking zone. Ben Lezenz drops down behind Stefano Comini, which is 5th position. Let's see what happens here. Huff on the defensive. Lezenz goes to the inside, the outside, and just catches him under braking, and then kind of turns in, and Huff was already there. All this fighting is going to allow Stefano Comini to get a 2nd podium of the weekend, so Jean Calvinet needs to be very clever about how he does this move, and Mondron needs to be very well behaved. Vavish has got past Kajaya, who was compromised out of La Source, and here comes Fitzer now in the first of the Seats. Fitzer in 9th position. Drag race between the two of them, and Stefano Comini ahead of them is trying to find a way past Vernet. Vernet to the outside, round the outside of both of them. Ho, ho, ho! Amazing move from Jean Calvinet. Certainly a little bit of help from Rob Huff there, no doubt about it. But Vernet onto the front of this pack and could be faced with his first win of the year. Oh no, there's been contact. Fitzer's facing the wrong direction again. We have lost Pierre-Yves Courtels. The camera is showing us that. So the Opel having another disappointing weekend. Wow, Mondron with a big slide through Blanchimont, just about gathers it up. Comini now, Comini's found a way past Edo Mondron up into 3rd position. Mondron's going to try and go around the outside here, but Comini surely is just going to edge him off the circuit. He does, and Comini moves up into the podium, or onto the podium for the 2nd time this weekend, and really igniting his championship fight. Ben Lezenz then, trying to go around the outside of Mondron. Can he make this happen? Can he hold the inside line? Side by side again to the 3rd part, but Mondron's going to have the inside line through the last part of Le Comte and holds on. Oh, Deavit looks very, very good up Eau Rouge this time, right on the back of Attila Tashi. But now it's the drag race down to Le Comte, up the Kemmel Straight. This is an incline, so really requires a bit of grunt. Nothing going on ahead, sorry. So Kajaya to the outside, and has he made it stick? Tries to turn in, tries to squeeze Tashi, just about managing. Now he needs to force Tashi wide, otherwise Tashi's going to have the inside line here, and he does, and Tashi holds on once again. What about Nash? How can Nash capitalise on this? He has the inside line on Kajaya and the overlap, and takes the place. Whoa, no, but brakes fail him. He runs wide, and Kajaya snatched it back. Final lap then. Tyres at their least best. And I think we just saw a huge bundle of understeer push James Nash wide through Brussels, therefore he couldn't hold on. Kajaya's really now only got one more opportunity to get past Tashi. No, he hasn't. Tashi's run wide. Tashi's off at Pouin, and he's let both of them past. A mistake from Attila Tashi. Oh, disaster from 7th position down to 9th. A team effort from the Leopard Racing team. Jean Calvinet takes the victory with Rob Huff 2nd, and therefore a 1-2 for the Volkswagen team. Still squabbling down at the chicane with Borkovic and Tashi, and Altoe tries to go around the outside. A drag race to the line. Kajaya ahead of Nash and Tashi, and then I think Altoe, yes, just got it ahead of Borkovic. Confirmation of the result. Jean Calvinet takes victory ahead of his teammate Rob Huff, with Stefano Comini, race 1 victor in 3rd position. A strong, strong podium. Mondron Lezenz having that Belgium Benelux fight in 4th, Vavish in 6th position, and then Kajaya ahead of Nash, Tashi and Altoe, your point scorers.
I was lucky with the 2 Volkswagen up front, so we can really have a good draft. And no, I have to thank my team. I have to thank my teammate, Rob. I mean, he did an amazing job. I mean, just taking care about me after I overtook him. Nothing more to say. The car was great. We just did like really good team playing.
And it means Jean Calvinet has a huge advantage over Stefano Comini. In 2nd position, Attila Tashi holds on to 3rd position, 2 points ahead of Borkovic, who does not score. Colciago does not score. Neither did Oriola. So huge congratulations for Jean Calvinet. Very happy to have Rob Huff as his teammate for the remainder of the series. And Stefano Comini has really opened up his championship now as we move to Monza in just a week's time. So you make sure you join us. The Pommery Sprays. And we say thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you again.